then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
From my kind of town that has all that jazz and razzmatazz, as Mr. Sinatra has said, the Racers Elite Nextgen series is ready to get it on here in the Windy City. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to one of NASCAR's newest endeavors, a city street course right in the heart of Chicago, Illinois. Last week, we had Georgia on our minds when Dwayne McMahon edged out Zach Lockett and Diego Rodriguez to capture the checkered flag, while Austin Smith finished 6th position after leading the most laps in Atlanta. Now tonight, we look to see who can be the road course whisperer and come out on top on the Chicago City Street Course. I'm Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth alongside my partners in crime, Mr. Daniel Paulus and Justin Shore, and we'll be with you every step of the way, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And gentlemen, glad to be here in the broadcast booth with you this evening, as we do get to see something pretty exciting that, you know, is not normal on our traditional NASCAR schedule. Of course, street course racing used to be kind of exclusive to F1 racing, but here we are, guys.
Here we are from Chicago street course, and it's brand new for most of these drivers here tonight. It's a 2.2-mile road course. A lot of expectations going into tonight's event, and you're going to see drivers who are probably going to overshoot the turns, and they're just going to have to get used to it as this night goes out.
Yeah, I think it's going to be way different than what they're used to. As you said, it is more for F1 races, and I think it's something to really look forward to. Expect a lot out of this race.
Absolutely. And, you know, one of the things that we're going to be paying attention to tonight is, you know, this different discipline because, you know, NASCAR is full of different disciplines. We've got super speedways, intermediate tracks, short tracks, and then we have road courses. This even changes the road course aspect because, you know, road courses, if you make a mistake, a lot of times you're going to be just sliding off into a field or into a pile of tires. But here, if you go, you're going into that safer barrier and you're going hard in a lot of these corners.
Yeah, it's
You
really
want to be very careful here in these corners too, and you're going to see some too wide action too going into some of these turns, but it's going to be so narrow where most of these drivers are not going to be able to go too wide, so they're going to have to sort it out some way, shape, or form. As you see right there, the 27 doing his qualifying lap.
Yeah,
it looks like a lot of...
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, my fault, man. It looks like a lot of people are staying really close to the sides on this one. It's going to be one of the weirder races. Sorry, go ahead.
Absolutely. Brad Hayes here in the number 27 Kodiak Chevrolet Camaro getting himself warmed up. He's just past the halfway point in his qualifying lap. He locks that front wheel up as he rolls out of this turn, and it looks like he's going to be sliding around pretty hard. Taking a look at our current conditions here in the Windy City, 85 degrees for those sitting in the stands. Of course, we're simulating the summertime here in Chicago and the city of big shoulders. And of course, true to form, 14-mile-an-hour wind is going to affect a lot of the aerodynamics of these cars. The interesting number to look at, though, is this track temperature of 113 degrees. There's not a lot of grip in that. There's definitely a lot of slip sliding around. And, you know, if we were on, you know, a short track, that would probably be turning these tires to all but liquid.
It would turn them all to liquid, as you see right here, the 27 of Brad Hayes right now.
He's
running
sticking
his
really,
laps.
yeah, sticking close to the side, trying to go in and out pretty easily. Looks like it's a pretty straightforward course, though. I look forward to this a lot.
Yeah, you know, when you look at this from above, it's basically a large all but figure eight, you know, the two middle sections nearly touching one another. As we get rolling along here, we've been watching Brad Hayes. We're going to slap over here to Paul Shaw out of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. And guys, I think I'm the only one out of the three of us that's qualified to say Bethlehem. I know that, you know, we just came out of the Christmas season where it's pronounced Bethlehem. But here in the rolling hills of the Keystone State, that's Bethlehem.
Yeah, it's the only one. You're the only one there. Bethlehem. I can't agree.
And one thing I want to point out here to both of you guys here tonight, this is not the only racing event that NASCAR has gone to here in Chicago, Illinois. They also have run motorsports at the Chicago Speedway a while back. Hoping to get back there very soon, but this is a new tradition here at Chicago right now as we are running the street course.
I haven't seen this one before, so I'm really excited for it. Do you know when it started at all or anything?
2023.
Oh, yeah, just started. All right, one second.
As we see Paul Shaw in that Wind Creek Casino Bethlehem, number 25 Toyota Camry, crossing the start-finish line. He's going to go fifth fastest on the timing tower. Looks like just behind him going to be John Schollenbachler. Thank goodness I'm German because I don't think anybody else could read that one. That's like a Polish guy. You just got to figure out what the consonants are and say ski at the end. Brandon Honeycutt here on his opening lap in the number 13 Toyota Camry, rolling out here. Doing his best here in that Pals Toyota Camry to keep it against the wall. He's trying to use as much of this racetrack as he can as he rolls past the entrance to pit road. It's going to be an interesting time here tonight. Of course, you know, plenty of tires, 5 sets, no fast repairs. And quite frankly, with 40 laps the scheduled distance, I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of pit strategy.
There's really not going to be a lot of pit strategy here on the Chicago Street Course tonight. But I want to go back to Braden Honeycutt. He's been one of those drivers who has done an excellent job this season, just hasn't executed as planned. But I wouldn't be shocked if he's up here inside the top 10, because I know he's a really good road course racer right now. As you see, he's putting down a really good qualifying lap.
Yeah, he's staying really, really straight on them. He's not really bumping any corners or getting too close. It's really straightforward. I like it.
Yeah, we can see that he's coming up that incline there. In fact, let's drop on down here into his cockpit. We're going to see him work this. Coming out here in third gear, there's a little bit of a hump there, of course, as he goes over top of the Chicago River. And we're going to see a lot of third and second gear action tonight. It's not like, going to well, I almost said Sears Point, Sonoma. And, of course, dropping into first gear, trying to get through some of those hairpins. We're going to see more second gear to bite that exit and get rolling again as he gets down here just about to that low end of the RPM scale, up the hill and down once again over that hump. So, not a whole lot of forward bite. We shouldn't see too many spinouts. And from what I've seen so far in practice and now qualifying, guys are able to keep, the majority of their car under control.
That's the good thing you want as drivers. You want to have good control over your car. You don't want it to be too loose or too tight where you can't even make a corner here, especially with narrow corners, as you see right there, to 43 going right there in that little S loop there. That's where you're going to see the too wide action here, and that's where you're going to see a lot of passes being made.
Yeah, a lot of people playing the outside on those. It's gonna be key on those. Yeah, I agree.
As he goes down past those gas-lit street lights there, one of the few towns that still has access to gas-lit street lights. It's always excellent to see some of the cool things about Chicago. A lot of times when you're at a racetrack like this, well, at any racetrack, for instance, Homestead, Miami, we were there back in October as a team, and hopefully I get to see you guys there this year, but or in 2024. But, the Homestead track is about a half hour outside of Miami proper. Atlanta is the same way. Dover's similar, and a lot of these racetracks are kind of distant from the city center that they represent. Here in Chicago, we are right downtown. I mean, the Chicago River, if this was March, we'd see it green and dyed for St. Patrick's Day.
It's very special to have a race here in the city, especially just literally inside the city, not on the outskirts of a city. So it's really cool. It's bringing a lot of these fans here, seeing what these drivers can do here on this new road course.
Yeah, it's all over. I enjoy it. It's a different scenery, different view, and it brings people in.
As you see right there, the 20 machine still making his qualifying lap. That was
Corey Crowell, but of course, qualifying just wrapping up now. That's going to put AJ Cawthon here on the pole position as Austin Smith, the first driver to get into the cockpit today. Here's AJ Cawthon. We're going to pull up our qualifying results. 19 drivers going to be taking the green flag. From all the way up here, oh, there we go. Just got to click. 19 drivers going to be taking the green flag tonight as we wait for AJ Cawthon and Brandon Puffenbarger to get into their cars here on the front row. Of course, usually we say inside and outside when we're getting ready to call the starting lineup, but tonight going to be slightly different as we get that graphic out of the way. We'll pull up another here. As we get ready to rock and roll, AJ Cawthon earns the pole position in qualifying tonight in his number 11 Chevrolet Camaro. Brandon Puffenbarger in the number 5 Chevrolet. That Valvoline paint scheme from PGH, let me see, PGH Pittsburgh, I believe, if he's using the airport abbreviation. Going to be starting also on row number 1. Row 2, going to feature Austin Smith and Brandon Honeycutt. Starting 3rd and 4th, Brandon Honeycutt, the first Toyota of the evening. Brad Hayes and Dennis Kane going to be featured on row number 3. Dennis Kane this is almost kind of like a home race to him. Detroit, Michigan the hometown for the young man. Paul Shaw in the number 25 from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, going to be rolling off in 7th position on what would be the inside of row number 4. Corey Crowell going to be starting in 9th position from Oak Harbor, Ohio, while John Schoenbachler going to be starting on the inside of row number 6 with Alex Teft from Hope Valley, Rhode Island, also in row 6. Row 7 going to have Truth Hoke and Andrew Teft from Hope Valley, Rhode Island. Mr. Teft, of course, the chief cook and bottle washer here in Racers Elite. Joshua Neal and Kensley Smith out of Tarboro, North Carolina, going to be featured in row number 8. Row number 9 going to be Diego Rodriguez, who we had heard about earlier from Adrian, Michigan, and Jason Bottoms going to be starting shotgun on the field tonight, starting in 18th position as John Fowler has opted to put it on the hauler early here tonight. So 40 laps the scheduled distance, gentlemen. I got to tell you, as we get through this first quarter of our parade lap, I'm getting kind of excited to see this road course.
I'm getting very excited, especially to see what these drivers can do, see if they can conquer this new road course. And I want to see what these drivers do as they head into turn 1.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to be really interesting. Look forward to the race completely.
The iRacing.com pace car leading us through just about the halfway point. We get a nice view of this racetrack no matter where we are, but let's ride along here with our pole sitter, AJ Cawthon. As we go through now, we've got about half this racetrack to go. Of course, we checked out the scheduled distance that we have to go. Total length of this track going to be 2.12 miles around this almost figure 8. So we've got about a little less than a mile to go now until that green flag waves. And gentlemen, I'm getting pretty excited.
I'm very excited to see what AJ Coughlin can do here. He's going to be in control of the field coming to the green flag. So you're feeling a lot of pressure because you know you're holding a whole pack of drivers behind you competing for that lead spot. And let me tell you, if we see one driver get out front and they know these road courses and street courses very well, it wouldn't shock me if they start pulling away a little bit, but I know how new this is to some of these drivers.
Yeah, I completely agree. I could see some of them just completely gone. I could see a lot of them just taking the lead.
Absolutely. Even here under pace speed, you know, drivers trying to get themselves caught up as the iRacing.com pace car makes that hard right turn down pit road. Ladies and gentlemen, grab some popcorn, call a friend, settle in. The man in the stand has the green flag in his hand, and we're racing in Chicago. A good start here from Brandon Puffenbarger as Puffenbarger leads our pole sitter AJ Cawthon through the first turn.
See right there, the 5 car, Brandon Puffenbarger getting a great launch there on that start early on in this race, getting the lead comfortably.
Yeah, he can feel the course. I feel like he knows it a little, knows the street courses a little better since this is kind of new for some of them.
As you see right there, the 5 car still leading the pack. Right behind him, AJ Coughlin, that 11 machine, as they head down this long straightaway here. This is where the passing's going to happen.
Yeah, coming down, it looks like they're competing for it. It's going to be a very good race coming through from this.
A lot of drivers going single file, but all of a sudden, Gordon Spain looking to the inside now on that turn of Dennis Kane. Kane still holding his own as we go up and over the river here over South Michigan Avenue. Looks like Honeycutt going to be able to hold his own here in the 13. They're starting to get themselves gapped out pretty comfortably here as everybody just about single file, you know, in fact, even going here to the blimp. From our blimp cam, we can see almost the entire field, of course, as we go behind a building. Why not? But almost the entire field going single file. And on a road course, that's kind of a good strategy to have. You're going to want to start capitalizing on, you know, that car in front of you making a mistake, maybe locking a front tire up as we go here into turn number 1. You know, you get that front left tire locked up here on turn 1, all of a sudden, you know, we've got a totally different race with AJ Cawthon and Brandon Puffenbarger. Oh. As it looks like Brad Hayes has had himself an incident. We're going to take a quick peek at it. A lot of road course racing, of course, dependent on replays, that's for sure. as we see Brad Hayes here in that Kodiak 27 fishtailing out of turn 1 and just edging the nose here into the wall. Not the end of the world, but he's going to get it turned around and back underway. And Diego Rodriguez here also on lap number 2, having himself an incident. We'll see what happens here with Diego. It almost looks like turn 1 going to be Calamity Corner for the evening as he comes and does the exact same thing that Hayes just did. Almost the exact same way.
And I've done the same thing, Dave, especially in turn 1, and that's because they're using a little too much throttle, and when they use that throttle and they keep it instead of braking a little bit, that's going to spin the rear tires and make the car come around get very loose. So you're going to want to try to let off the throttle a little bit and use that brake.
Yeah, just as Daniel said. It's perfect.
As you see right there, the 5 of Puffenberger still leading the pack here at Chicago Street Course here on lap 3 out of 40. Right behind him in second place is 11 of AJ Coffin. In third place, you see the 23 of Smith there. The top 3 pulling away from the rest of the pack there. Over 5-second gap from the 13 of Honeycutt.
Yeah, I completely agree. Just pulled away, but it's a matter of a couple seconds, not even. They can all just come back right on their tail.
You see right there, 23 of Smith now putting pressure on 11 of AJ Coffin going to the inside. He's not going to make a move too narrow of a corner, but he is trying to get around that 11 machine.
Yeah. 23 on 11's tail right here. 5 still keeping his lead though, as 11's trying to tail him.
I want to welcome everybody into the youtube.com live chat here on Sim Racing Media. Lots of activity already as the Allen Experience, all kinds of active here. First in the chat tonight, wishing us a good show, of course. Joshua Neal wishing us a good evening. Corey Crowell saying, let's go Midwest Motorsports. Joshua Neal again. Racers Elite saying, let's go racing. And Mike DeMoney wants to know if Austin Smith will drive away from the field like he did last night. And right now, Mike, I'm not sure which one of us is drinking, but it doesn't look like Smith is driving away from the field this evening. But glad to have everybody in, making us a part of your evening. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe to Sim Racing Media here on youtube.com. Turn on those bell notifications so that every time we click the live button, you get a notification and you get to tune into some of the best racing here on the iRacing.com servers. As Dave Regal, Daniel, and Justin bringing you all of the action tonight here at the Chicago Road Course.
Yeah, as we just saw, 23 took the lead from over 11 to 5. He pulled away just a little bit and got past them both.
The 23 of Austin Smith has been a very strong driver this season. In these past few races, John and me, when we see Austin Smith, he's been there always at the end collecting these wins, so it doesn't surprise me that he's out front right now. As you see right there, right behind him is 11 of AJ Coffin, about a second and a half back. In third place, the 5 of Puffenberger lost that lead to Austin Smith. And you see right there, we are on lap 4 out of 40.
Yeah, Puffenberger completely went past, or behind Smith, I'm sorry. And eventually number 11 got right in front of him too, making it a closer race.
You know, not to pick on anybody here, but since I'm in the neighborhood, I'm looking here at the paint scheme here on the number 5 Valvoline Chevrolet Camaro, driven by Brandon Puffenberger, and on that left rear it says the original motor oil. I have news for him. It's not the original motor oil. Of course, here in Pennsylvania, where oil was discovered first in this country, Quaker State, the original motor oil, if you will.
It's an interesting fact right there. I did not know that at all. I
am full of useless information. I'm here to entertain and inform.
Well, fair enough. Like to hear it.
The late great Tony Trapasso and I used to have a contest to see who could bring up the most useless information during a show, and which one of us could make the other laugh and have to shut a microphone off. So I'm just saying, it's game on here in the Windy City from the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth.
Well, you just won against me because I turned my mic off and laughed right there.
No, a good race so far, and keeping an eye on Alex Teft here. Just about 1 second between Teft and Truth Hogue. So things starting to tighten up here. Look at this little 4-car breakaway that we have starting to form. As it looks like John Schoenbachler just had himself an accident. Let's see what's going on. Oh, and there goes the 27. Just as I click one, the other comes through. We're keeping an eye on Schoenbachler. Whoa.
Oh, he just...
Those are tires. You don't want to drive into those.
Too much throttle there from
and then
the 9
moments
car.
later, Brad Hayes getting a nudge from the 57, and as he fishtails the 57, that's what we affectionately call a Code Brown moment, and then to add insult to injury. My goodness, this is worse than a bumper car ride at the county fair, as all Schoenbachler was trying to do was get back underway. Diego Rodriguez, meanwhile, here in the 24, of course, that's almost sacrilegious to have a Michigan Wolverines paint scheme in Chicago. But he takes the 24, locks that front left tire up, and just slides it into the wall right there at the Xfinity Mobile advertisement.
And this is what I was mentioning earlier, Dave and Justin. Earlier on in the pre-race, what I was talking about is you're going to see these drivers lock up their tires and go into those tire barriers, and that's because they're using too much throttle. Yes, they want to close in on most of these drivers, but it's very hard once they start pulling away here, especially on a road course. As you see right there, the 6 machine of Teft right there, currently 12th. Right behind him is the 57 of Bottoms. That's
Brad Hayes having himself a little bit of an incident here. We'll take a look once again as the Kodiak. Maybe it's time for another dip of Kodiak as he comes down the front stretch. And here we go into Calamity Corner, turn 1. Ooh, right into the Blue Cross Blue Shield advertisement. I hope he's got Illinois Blue Cross Blue Shield to get to the hospital with, that's for sure. Alex Teft once again having another issue here. As we see Teft, here it comes in the 43. And, you know, as we've seen so many times, here we are, turn 1. Oof. Yeah. Just bringing it around. You know, a lot of times, and I've talked to a couple of different really good road course drivers. Do you guys remember SpongeBob SquarePants getting his driver's license from Mrs. Puff?
yes.
Of course.
You got to use that big toe. Use that big toe and be easy on the throttle. Hit your marks.
Right.
You may not be running away from the field, but the field is eventually going to come to you as they've beaten the bejesus out of their equipment. And you know, sometimes it's better just to hit your marks, get your job done, and bring it home in one piece rather than try to, you know, run it into the wall. As we see Austin Smith here running away with about now an even 5-second lead over AJ Cawthon.
He has no pressure. There's literally no one behind him. But look at that orange there on that wheel. That is the brakes. Those are really hot right now as you see him going through the S's. But once again, he's got a comfortable lead over AJ Cawthon, who's currently second in that 11 machine. But I do see this happen on road courses, Dave, where brake failure doesn't occur.
Yeah, completely. We see it all the time. It's going to be a smooth race, it looks like, for right now until something major happens or someone tries to take the lead here. It's still a 5.6 second lead. Smith is in the lead here.
Working on lap 8 out of 40 here in the Racers Elite Next Gen Series from the Chicago Street Course. So far, the 23 of Austin Smith's been leading the most laps here tonight at Chicago. And Justin, it's your first broadcast. I know that. Are you excited for this race?
Yeah, I'm completely excited. As Smith just got a 0.8 second bigger lead here, it's turning into a really fun race to watch and just understand more and more of it. I've never seen this kind of race course, so it's fun to watch. I'm not used to it as much street racing.
It's definitely an acquired taste here. As we get through. I mean, you know, when you're looking here, folks, on the left side of your screen on our timing tower, 8 laps in, so about a fifth of the way through this race, you know, we go from 6 seconds of a gap from the leader, 7 seconds of a gap from the leader, and then the rest. You know, you can almost throw a blanket over that top 3 for right now, as it looks like Brandon Honeycutt. I'm not sure if he's related to BJ Honeycutt from the MASH 4077, but looks like Brandon Honeycutt just got himself into the pits, and maybe something went on here as he made his pit exit.
Yeah.
Doesn't look like it, so maybe iRacing timing and scoring just a little overzealous tonight.
Didn't see any mistake there. Right there's the 4 of Dennis Kane. Dennis Kane last week at Atlanta was having a good, strong run, and he's having another great run here at the road course. Currently 4 in that 4 machine. You have to keep a close eye on Dennis Kane tonight.
Yeah, he
See
has
him
a
lock up right there. Almost hitting that tire barrier. And like you mentioned, Dave, you don't want to hit the tire barrier.
No, those are...
no, not at all. Not at all. It's just going to set you off course. With a 3-second lead compared to number 20 Crowd, and very decent gap between number 5.
As you see, we are working on lap number 9 out of 40. And right before this road course was even made, Justin, they actually raced at Chicagoland Speedway for the last decade or two. And we have seen some great racing action there. But what do you think it brings a different type of fan to NASCAR? Does it bring like a Formula One fan now that we're racing on a street course? Or do you think it just brings everybody in that loves motorsports?
I think it'll pull more people in general, not just F1 fans, but I think having this different type of raceway in this type of area, with all the different scenery that can happen, and like we were saying earlier with the fields, how if someone crashes, they go into like hay bales or whatever.
Oh, the 4 of Dennis Kane locks it up right there. Almost ended up into the tire barrier once again here on lap 9. We're going to take a look at this replay.
Here he goes up and over the hump, and I'll tell you what, a lot of this incident right here for Dennis Kane is going to come from when all of that weight transfers. You know, we can see, as a matter of fact, as I'm going to run this back here, as we can see him coming up and over the hill, that he's basically, we're going to watch that suspension lift up and then slam back down onto the asphalt, and the car just basically has to settle down before you try to make that turn.
Yeah, you see the little bumps happening there with it too, just showing how it's going right up and down, up that hill. This
Ding dong here in our Norristown, Pennsylvania studio as, well, Cheesecake Factory was just delivered to the front door. Having a little Cuban sandwich here tonight. That goes well with Angel's Envy Bourbon. It's going to be a fantastic evening.
Ooh.
See right there, the 23 of Austin Smith. Now an 8.6 second gap over second place of AJ Coughlin. Dave, the 23 of Austin Smith, he's going to be continuing taking this lead if a caution doesn't come out, which I don't see happening here.
No, not at all.
Well, we will not be seeing a caution tonight, as cautions are disabled during road course races.
Oh, wow.
As you see right here, a nice tight little battle here between the 45 and 13. That's Braden Honeycutt right there. As you see them going through the turns here, 13's gonna have to get a great run here. He's gonna get that clean air, trying to side draft that 45 to get that run to get around him.
As you see, Honeycutt still right in front.
The 45. Michael Smith under pressure now from the 13 of Braden Honeycutt. There you see it. Braden Honeycutt makes the move there in the S's. Now the 45 falls back to 13th.
Honeycutt cutting his way just in front of Michael Smith. As we switch back to Dennis Kane, all of a sudden he's starting to have himself a rearview mirror full of Corey Crowell. And, you know, just about 3/4 of a second between these two drivers. They are the closest right now on the track as far as distance goes. Gonna have to start to watch this battle here for 4th position.
Yeah, it's a close one with almost about a second distance here, Kane and Crowell, 4 and 20.
Taking a look at Joshua Neal. He crashes, and of course, once again, Calamity Corner, turn 1, right after the start-finish line. And there's that front tire locked up. Ooh.
Yeah, as we were saying before, tire locks up on those turns. Doesn't look good.
See right there, the 20 machine of Carell closing in on the 4 of Dennis Kane. Dennis Kane knows as he locks up, the 20 goes by with no problem. Now Dennis Kane falling back to 5th, and Corey Carell will take that position very easily.
Once again, go ahead.
No, my fault. Go.
Once again, that's perfect road course etiquette, if you will. You know, waiting for that driver right in front of you to make a mistake. You know, Crowell was back there kind of lurking, kind of waiting for Kane to do something. And next thing you know, makes that pass and secures that position.
And you're going to see that throughout the night, Dave and Justin. You're going to see these drivers looking for other drivers, making that mistake, locking up, because that's an opportunity for them to get around and take that position. As you see, here's a nice little battle here between the 6 machine and the 27. That is Brad Hayes. Right there, you see Brad Hayes all over the 6 machine of Andrew Taft. Right there, you see another move being made there. Going down the front straightaway into turn number 1. That is the 23. That is our leader, Austin Smith.
Austin Smith making the perfect pass there on Joshua Neal, getting around what is now the lap car. I mean, you know, we've seen Smith come down that stretch several times tonight and get through it cleanly. He's obviously backed up that corner pretty far. You know, unlike what we see from some of these other drivers, what happens is, you know, you brake too late, a little bit of brake smoke, and all of a sudden you got fire. I mean, look at the rear brakes here. Let me see if I can get really close here on that left rear. We're going to watch this left rear start to glow on the 23 car. And, you know, we see him braking what looks like way early. I mean, he's braking almost at that four sign before the turn. I mean, there it is again. He's got the right braking points, and that's obviously the secret to getting around this place tonight.
And you're going to see a lot of these drivers figure out those braking points here at Chicago Street Course. And you see a lot of drivers overshooting the turns, and that's because they're not sure when to brake, or they're using way too much throttle. But this 23 of Austin Smith is phenomenal right now. He knows the braking points, and once you get used to it, you know exactly when to brake as he continues to lap the field.
Ooh, oh, there goes the front nose clip on the 25.
Yeah, lockup, same thing around those corners.
Now, here's your next useless piece of information. Paul Shaw, of course, driving the Wind Creek Bethlehem. Hey, that's a wall. We don't really want to rub up against that wall. But Paul Shaw was just getting around. Now I lost who it was. Driving the X-Side machine, but. You know, of course, Wind Creek Bethlehem is an event center up in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, associated with a casino up there. And then the X-Side car, and now I got to find who that was. Whoever's driving the X-Side car, we're gonna find him. I promise. X-Side Batteries, also a Pennsylvania company, of course, used to be headquartered right in Reading, Pennsylvania. There it is. Must be a. What in the world? I'm not sure who's driving that X-Side machine. But X-Side, just about 45 minutes away. There it is, Andrew Taft. About 45 minutes away, their headquarters used to be from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
A lot of sponsors being made here out of Pennsylvania tonight here on these next-gen cars. And you see these wonderful paint schemes on these cars, looking very nice for these fans here.
Yeah, they're all pretty nice to look at and cool in general. I think it's awesome that there's so many from Pennsylvania.
Well, I'll tell you what, you know, near and dear to our hearts here at Sim Racing Media, one of our favorite drivers of the number 6 X-Side machine here on the Iracing.com servers, of course, Emily Arias, one of our teammates here. She makes that thing purr around the track when she races in Sunday Night NASCAR, and of course some of the other leagues that she runs in. So keep your eyes tuned for that in the upcoming NASCAR season.
Yeah, it's very exciting to look forward to. Definitely, general.
And you're going to see this field start spreading out a little more, Dave. What are our expectations? Do you think anybody could catch the 23 of Austin Smith?
Only if they have a tractor beam and it's the front of the USS Enterprise.
As you see right there, our leader, 23 of Austin Smith, now with a 7.9 gap over our second place driver, AJ Coffin, as he's continuing to lap this field. Here on lap 15 out of 40, this race is going to go pretty quick.
Yeah, and it doesn't look like Smith is slowing down at all. The gap just keeps getting bigger. It went from 7.8 to 8.9 all the way to 9. Just keeps going.
And you can see on
here's
the
the thing:
left
11 cars left on the lead lap, and
Right.
Brandon Honeycutt already a minute and 20 off the pace. When we're running 1 minute 30 second laps, or 1 minute 32 seconds for Austin Smith. Let's take a look here at the left side of our screen. We're going to look at the left side of our screen. Hold on 1 second. 1 minute 32 seconds for Austin Smith, and AJ Cotham running 1:36. So he's only going to get slower and slower throughout the evening. The ones to watch are the ones that are starting to match up with Austin Smith. As we watch Crowell, starting to creep in on Austin Smith, you're going to start to see that gap make its way closed.
Yeah,
you will
completely.
start to see that gap close, just like you mentioned, Dave. And you see right there, the 6 running very good corners right now, not making a lot of mistakes. As you see him crossing the start-finish line here on the front straightaway on this road course. Here on lap 16.
Yeah, the corners, he's doing tight but well. Brakes are looking good here, in general.
Well, we're going to switch around here and see who else is. To peel back the curtain a little bit here, iRacing, we can look and see what iRacing thinks is the most exciting thing to watch on the track. And of course, right now it seems to think that it's Dennis Kane being chased down by Kensley Smith, but right now has a windshield full of Corey Crowell. Looks like Diego Rodriguez having himself an incident here, actually kind of a little double whammy here on lap number 15. And here comes Diego just behind the 11 of AJ
Little
Cotham
lockup.
and just completely misses.
Yeah.
Gonna cost him a lot of time there in that 24 machine, Diego Rodriguez. As you see right there, the 4 of Dennis Kane still trying to track down the 20 of Corey Carell right there in front of him. Haven't seen him close in just yet, but I bet he'll start closing in no time.
Yeah, it'll be a good match between number 4 and 20, Corral and Queen. They're gonna be head and head for a while.
See the 4 right there, lock up going into the turns. But look who's right behind him. It is the 59 of Truth Hoke right there. And that wonderful 59 paint scheme. Now, if the 4 does make a mistake, Dave, that could cost him another position. That 59 is right there.
Once again, that's going to be Jason Bottoms, race to lose. Or I'm sorry, not Jason Bottoms, but Truth Hoke's race to lose. Speaking of Jason Bottoms, a moment ago, Jason Bottoms here in the 57 machine. Looks like he's got it under control coming through that big sweeping turn. And there it goes. Wow, that is the end. You see that puff of smoke? That says that's the end of his evening.
That took out his engine, and that's going to end the 57's night here at Chicago Street Course. Not what he wanted to have as a result in this race. As you see right now, the 59 once again trying to gain ground on the 4 of Dennis Kane.
Yeah, taking the loops very nice. As we've seen countless times, it's a close race, and they're just waiting for that proper etiquette, seeing if one makes a mistake, just to zoom past, go right past, and look what happens.
Working on lap number 18 out of 40 here in the Racers Elite Next Gen Series. We want to thank you guys all that are watching here tonight, watching these talented drivers race around this newly formed Chicago street course here. I know we're excited. I'm sure you guys are excited. As you see right now, the 23 of Austin Smith still leading the pack here over second place, 11 of AJ Carruth.
Yeah, his lap time's amazing. At 1 minute 30 seconds, 0.55. It's really close. You'll see 11 now has 1 minute and 31 seconds. He's narrowed the gap a little. Before it was 1:33, so it's looking a little better for him now.
You see right there, the 4, Dennis Kane making a move once again, trying to get that 59 not to get any closer to him. As you see the 59 now inching closer and closer in each turn here. The 4 of Dennis Kane cannot make a mistake. As you see a big lock
Truth
up
Hope,
in the
there
4
it is.
There it is, and that's going to allow the 58 of Truth Hope to get around the 4 of Dennis Kane, now losing another position with these lockups. That's just going to keep hurting the tire wear.
And we're going to watch that right from Dennis Kane's perspective here. As what we see out of the 4 car, a little bit of a rub from the 59, but all of a sudden locking it up, coming down that hill. Once again, that weight transfer on the suspension doesn't allow the car and that chassis to settle down coming off that hill. If you don't brake soon enough, you almost need to be braking as you come across the top of the hill. But if you don't do it soon enough, that's exactly what's going to happen, and you're going to bleed a spot out.
Very unfortunate for the 4 of Dennis Kane as you see him come down pit road here to get serviced.
Yeah, I think we saw a lot of number 23. We thought in the beginning he may have been braking a little too early, but it looks like it was definitely the right play on these courses as we've seen so many lockups.
Look, when you talk to any experienced driver on the Iracing.com servers, the first thing they're going to tell you is if you want to learn how to save tires and if you want to learn how to extend your race, it's all about your braking distance. Sometimes these drivers, it looks like, oh, gee, they're braking too early. But when you look at it and you start to pay attention to it, you start to understand the physics of the way that these independent suspensions on the next-gen cars work, you're going to start to see those drivers, that cream rising to the top. And we see that now as, we look at the gaps here, and we're down to 8 cars left on the lead lap, halfway through.
Yeah, we see the top 3 still have a good lead on each other here, as number 11, 5, 7-second lead, and Smith with the 12 there. It's just looking like a clean race right now.
And since we are in Chicago right now, I'm going to give out a little interesting fact to both of you guys right now. As you see, we are working on lap 20 out of 40. The Sears Tower in Chicago is the tallest building in America, which I had no idea about, and I thought that would be very interesting since it's in Chicago and we're at Chicago right now racing. I thought that would be an interesting fact to share with all you viewers right now. As you see, the 23 of Austin Smith having a 13.3 second gap now over second place, extending that lead over second, and right in third place is the 5 of Puffenberger. Nothing changing in the top 3 so far.
Yeah, pretty steady throughout right now, as you see 20 and 59 behind. It's looking like a pretty decent gap there.
With just 20 laps remaining here, Dave, what are expectations?
I'll tell you what, right now, halfway to go, expectations are very simple.
I think we're going to see a lot of people. Sorry, Dave,
expectations are very simple. We're going to watch, Austin Smith, AJ Cawthon, and Brandon Puffenbarger run away from the field, barring any kind of catastrophic mistakes. We're looking at 13, another 7 seconds, another 26 seconds between, the top 3 and the next driver. We're not going to see a whole lot of aggression. There's not going to be a last lap, charge. Assuming everybody makes it to the checkered flag, you're looking at what will be our podium.
You see right there on the left side on our pylon right now, you see everybody from 8th on back, starting with the 13th of Brian Honeycutt, is either a lap or 2 down, or is either out of this race or again serviced on pit road. You see right there in 13th place, the 24 of Rodriguez, currently on pit road.
Yeah, same with number 59, Hoke right now. He's on pit road also. Yeah, as we see Smith completely taking Hoke right now over because he went to
Oh.
pit road.
The
Oh.
23 of Austin Smith coming down pit road with just 20 laps to go, Dave.
That's not a bad idea. Come down, get yourself some fresh tires. You know, you've still got 14 seconds now, 13, and closing for Cawthon. You're maybe going to bleed out second position unless Cawthon decides he wants to come down pit road. We're going to keep an eye on it. Cawthon going to try to lead a lap here, while Puffenbarger are going to come down pit road. So 2 out of the top 3 deciding that it's time, while Corey Crowell is still so far behind the leader that it's not really going to matter.
It's really not going to matter for that 20 machine. All he could do is get a top 5 finish here tonight from the Chicago Street Course. He's doing an excellent job. Corey Corral, no matter what track we go to, he's very good no matter if it's a short track, a super speedway, or a road course. And just like a street course, he's doing an excellent job.
Yeah, he's always been in there and a part of it. He's done very well throughout this series so far.
With just 19 laps remaining here at the Chicago Street Course, there is a lead change and it is now the 11 car of Cawthon now taking the lead, and that's because the 23 of Austin Smith and the 5 of Puffenbarger did come down pit road to get Surf and get new tires. So now with the 11 out front, does he come down pit road and get tires?
Yeah, I think so. He should soon in general. Yeah. And
Well,
Smith
we're
is
not going to
17
see
seconds.
too much of that. Andrew Teft having himself an incident here back on 21. We see that number 6. Anybody want to guess what's about to happen here?
He's gonna overshoot the corner and right
Yep.
there.
Somebody
Hits
really
the
needs to
inside
apologize to that
wall.
section of wall.
And that looks like that's been the worst part for most of these drivers here tonight, Dave, is that they're overshooting this corner in turn 1, and that's really where all these hits are happening too.
Yeah, we completely said since the
right there.
beginning that turn 1 was going to trip up a lot of the players in general. A lot of the brakes are going to lock, a lot of cars are going to overshoot it. It was looking like this from the beginning a little.
See right there, the 20 of Corey Carell now coming down the front straightaway. Right behind him, right there, coming off the turn, you see right there the 5 of Brandon Puffenbarger, currently sitting in P4.
Yeah, it's looking like a pretty good race right now with Kyle and Puffenberger already went to the pit, and it's gonna wondering when number 11 will go down, and Smith also.
With just 18 laps remaining here from the Chicago Street Course. You saw right there the 20 of Corey Corral making a little mistake, no problem. He keeps it straight as he is on his way down the long straightaway. Once again, hits that outside wall.
Yeah,
We're going to take a look right here at the front of the 20 as we're going to see if we can get our drone cam right in front of it. We're going to see if we can just maybe drop down. Watch this, the drone camera floating right in front of the 20 machine. You're going to see that front splitter pick up right here as he gets on the throttle. Look at these bounces that this thing's taking. That car right now completely unsettled as he moves with about a quarter of a second here. What I want to watch and what I'm kind of holding on for is when he comes down the front straightaway across the start finish line. Here he comes as he's got one more turn before the start finish line, and when he swings it out here, we're gonna watch that. Never mind. Of course he's gonna do that to me.
Well, you see right there the 20 of Corey Corral going down pit road. We thought he wouldn't come down, but here he is on pit road, giving up his 4th place finish. And right in 5th place is the 15. That is Smith, 50 seconds back, but I think he's going to have plenty of time to stay in 4th place.
Yeah.
As you see right there with 17 laps to go, the 23 of Austin Smith still leading this pack here. Has been dominating this whole race here tonight, Dave and Justin. Nothing is going to change here, as you see right there. He's taking the lead once again, now on fresher tires. So you're going to start seeing him pulling away with now 15 seconds ahead of 2nd place.
And maybe what we're going to try to do right here, gentlemen, is go back to that drone camera that we just had set up a moment ago. And the other thing I want to do is I want to look here at his dashboard here in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. We're going to watch the speed of the 23 as he comes down the front stretch and that front splitter. You know, he's got it all the way up over 100 miles per hour as he crosses the start-finish line, almost to 134, and all of a sudden he's got to nose this thing down into the asphalt. You can see all of that weight transferring on these independent suspensions, one wheel at a time, and he has this thing dialed in just right.
You want to have a great car that handles on road courses, especially on a street course. You want to have good handling, because if you're not going to have good handling and your weights are off or it's too tight or too loose, you're not going to have the car you want the whole race. And you just want to have a good car in general. That's all I can really mention, because if not, you're going to end up in the wall.
Yeah, cross weight a major factor on a road course because you want it to be as balanced as humanly possible.
Right.
Yeah, that speed from 140 or 130 all the way down to 70, it's crazy to think of the numbers of how fast he's accelerating going down. That second matters so much in this.
You saw right there when he came down the hill, you saw that left front digging into the pavement, literally right on the pavement, just like you mentioned, Dave. It's that weight.
Yeah, the suspension just... Sorry.
No, go ahead.
That's good, go.
You know, as we work our way around Grant Park here, we just want to take a quick run through the field. Austin Smith, our race leader, has been out here what seems like since the very moment that the green flag waved tonight. AJ Cawthon, our pole sitter, he has gotten himself here into second position out of Rochester Hills, Michigan. Brandon Puffenbarger out of Pittsburgh. I really hope it's Pittsburgh. It's either that or I'm terribly off. Running in third position, Tarboro, North Carolina's very own Kensley Smith running in fourth position, while our top five is rounded out by Corey Crowell out of Oak Harbor, Ohio. Dennis Kane running in sixth position, and Alex Teft, our last driver on the lead lap from Hope Valley, Rhode Island, driving the Club Wyndham number 43 Chevrolet Camaro. And I'll tell you what, the other thing is, as I'm looking at it right here, one blue oval sits on the lead lap. Just one. No Toyotas. And I'll tell you what, for lack of a better term, this field is Chevy heavy.
And you see that a lot on these road courses. You're going to see one manufacturer have a lot more cars than the other two, and that's just how it is. And you are right, Dave. It is Chevy heavy right now. And you see most of these Chevys are doing well. Some aren't doing well, but you do see those Fords mixed in.
You do. We're going to take a look right here at Alex Teft. Now, we see Teft being about 1 minute 29 seconds off the lead. Now, we're going to look here at Austin Smith. And Austin Smith has him in the crosshairs. We're going to be 6 cars on the lead lap in just a few moments, that's for sure.
And look how good that 23 rolls throughout the corner compared to some of these other drivers that we have seen throughout this race tonight. Just look at, he's doing very well. His car's rotating as he needs it to be. It's not loose, it's not tight, it's just right. You see a lock up there on the car in front of our leader. That's going to allow the 23 of Austin Smith to gain once again and put him a lap down.
Yeah. Absolutely astonishing as he keeps the lead with 17 seconds compared to second place, number 11. Number 5 with 26 seconds to go before...
Did you guys just see the gain that Smith had on Teft?
Yeah. That was
A
crazy.
lot of gain.
Yeah. That's
And
crazy.
you see right there, he has lapped another driver once again. And you saw he is not making any mistakes. That's all I can really say. He's not making any mistakes. He's doing what he needs to do. He's in his office. He's really focused right now as you see him making his way through the turns here. Look how far away, Dave, he has pulled from that 43.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, as he's already put that distance between them, we're going to take a look here at Kensley Smith, what just happened on lap 26 in that Michael Waltrip throwback paint scheme from the DEI days. And there he is, locking him up. And you could see the whole car just absolutely lurch. And we're going to take one more look at this from a little bit of a different perspective. But the whole car appears to have lurched. It's almost like, there it is. As the suspension was coming back down onto the asphalt, he hit the brake and it skipped.
And when you get that skip, that you really can't do anything for that. You just go along with the ride. As you see right there, 13 laps to go here at the Chicago Street Course. For some of these drivers, it's very new. For some, it's not. As you see, the 23 of Austin Smith now working his way through the corners there. No problem, as he is having a 19-second gap over second place.
Yeah, not shortening at all. It just keeps growing bigger and bigger from all the way from 8 to 20 now. It just doesn't stop. Puffenberger in third place, number 5. 31 seconds behind first place.
And you see right there, the top 6 all still on the lead lap here, Justin and Dave. But everybody behind Dennis Kane is either a lap down or out of this race. And let's just say, this is pretty impressive from the 23 of Austin Smith, how he's just pulling away, not making any mistakes here. And his car's just rotating fantastically.
Yeah, no lockups, no scrapes at all. Looks good in general. Number 23 coming around the fence perfectly. Yeah.
See right here, just 13 laps to go here from the Chicago Street Course. Now 12 laps to go here, with 21-second lead over AJ Coughlin.
And 32-second lead over Puffenberger, number 5. As you can see, we still have all the way from number 7 down are all a lap or 2 behind, which is pretty astonishing to see. As you see, 6, 5, Crowell and Kane 1 minute behind us. Smith looking fantastic. Sorry.
You see right here in the Racers Elite Next Gen series, we will not be going to a road course next week. We will be going back to our typical oval style track with just 12 laps here to go. And let me tell you, road course racing, this is pretty much similar to a street course race. It's just that on these street courses, once you get to know the layout, you start pulling away compared to these road courses where you can make aggressive moves and whatnot. But these lanes that they're using are so narrow, you really can't make a move here.
Yeah, they're really narrow compared to the normal races they're used to. They're used to those wide edges where they can try to take the lead on those sides.
As you see right there, the 23 still leading, pulling away. And you see right there in 4th place, the 15 of Smith, Kensley Smith, doing an excellent job here tonight, getting a top 5. Well done for him. And right here, rounding out your top 5 is the 20 of Corey Carell. Another strong run for him. And Dennis Kane just right outside the top 5, having a little trouble early on in this race, having those lockups cost him tons of positions here. But he's looking like to have a solid top 10 here tonight.
Well, he's definitely locked into the... Wow! What in the world?
Wow.
That was something that we're going to have to take a look back at because, wow. Ugly
Huge
is an
lockup.
understatement here. It looks like the 20 just locked him up. I mean, thank goodness for Dennis Kane, he got out of the way. So near calamity there for Kane. Now, you know, one thing that we're going to take a look at here now, Crowell is 1 minute and 10 seconds off the leader. So if we do a little bit of simple math here, 11 laps to go, just about 20 minutes left to go, we are going to see probably Crowell get lapped.
Yeah, most definitely. The lead is, it just keeps growing. For Smith, the lead, he has perfect terms right now. He's definitely used to these street races compared to the normal ones.
You see right there in the background the other drivers making their way through this street course. But Austin Smith has been lapping this field multiple times here tonight and has been dominating this race. As you see right there, Corey Carell, since he had that lockup, is now outside the top 5. Currently P6. That allows the 4 of Dennis Kane to get that 5th position here. But I do believe the 20 will go a lap down here by the end of this race. That's going to allow the top 5 to all stay on the lead lap here. But everybody's doing an excellent job here.
Yeah, it's definitely a close race between Smith and Kane right now, with Crowell seeming to be lapped. I don't know, though. It's going to be close in general between all of them. Puffenberger and number 11 still with 26 seconds compared to Smith, 39 seconds of Puffenberger compared to Smith. Smith's still in the lead. 10 laps to go.
As you see right there, the 20 having a struggle with his handling, hitting the outside wall there, not having the car he wants here tonight. And I'm sure some of these drivers are frustrated with their car. As you see right there, Corey Carell is still sitting in 6th, but struggling.
Well, you know, the frustration that you're going to experience on a road course like this isn't necessarily with the car as much as it is with, you know, your skill. I mean, usually the conversation in Discord after a race like this, you know, it starts to circulate around, I've got to practice my road courses more. Oh, I've got, you know, as we cross the railroad bridge, you know, once more, you know, everybody suddenly thinks, I've got to practice my road course racing. You do. But, you know, I think more people are beating themselves up as, you know, we want to welcome everybody in here to Grant Park, of course, named for President Ulysses S. Grant, who about a 3-hour drive away from Chicago is where President Grant was from, in Galena, Illinois. But, of course, a favorite son of the state. As it looks like A.J. Cawthon being chased down now. Oh, nope. Cawthon got to step out of line here.
That's
going to come down pit road here.
Well, 9 laps to go. He went down pit road. Puffenberger with 40 seconds compared to Smith. Puffenberger in 2nd place.
I see what happened here. It looks like Cawthon had himself an incident as he's missing that front nose clip. Let's see what happened. Rolls out of turn 1.
Turn 1. Right here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
And boom goes the proverbial dynamite.
Wow.
Not what AJ Cawthon wanted to see here tonight, just with 9 laps to go. Not really big position change. I mean, he only lost 1 position to the 5 of Puffenberger, but still inside top 3. He could get a top 3 here tonight, which it looks like he will be. As you see right there, right behind him, 4th place is the 15 of Kensley Smith, having an excellent night. 5th place, Dennis Kane. 6th, Corey Carell. The 7th place is the 43 of Alex Teff. Right behind him in 8th is Braden Honeycutt. 6th, Andrew Teff. And rounding out your top 10 right now is Hoke in that 59 machine.
Yeah, as we see with number 20 right now, the gap's getting much larger compared to Kane and Smith. As he was kind of tight with Kane and Smith, the gap's about 15 seconds bigger now compared to before. Definitely looking like Smith's going to lap him.
As we watch Austin Smith leading Puffenberger now by 42 seconds, you know, we're starting to see time melt away for these drivers to try to capitalize on anything. And it appears that it's going to be Smith, Puffenberger, and Cawthon. You know, Cawthon's still able to hold on to a 13-second lead over Kensley Smith. So as long as he can get himself back on pace, he should be able... What in the world was this? It's like rush hour.
He came around that corner very aggressively. I don't know why. As you see them go down the front straightaway now, entering turn number 1. This is where you're not going to want to make a mistake. Seen a lot of drivers make mistakes here. 15 gets a good corner exit, so does the 4. Everybody looks like they're keeping it straight here, Dave.
They do. They're kind of, I'll tell you what, coming down that particular stretch as we come around that Chicago Union Station just ahead of them. But, and of course, the major hub for what basically is the California Zephyr on Amtrak that goes from Chicago to San Francisco. But as we come down that stretch, we can see everybody just kind of taking their time, and really they've settled into these cars with 7 laps to go.
And this is how your finishing order is going to be. You see this field spread out tremendously. You see right there on your pylon 6th place, the 20 of Corey Carell, now a lap down. That is now the top 5 who are currently on the lead lap. And that 5th place is the 4 of Dennis Kane, who's doing excellent right now. You see those brakes lighting up there as we use those brakes very hard here on this street course.
Yeah, the match between Smith and Kane right now is really close. You see, waiting just for one person to mess up, that one slim chance, you're just going to zoom by.
See right there, the 4 of Dennis Kane closing in on the 15 of Kensley Smith. Can the 4 gain one more position before this night is over? Well, this is going to be a great battle. As you see now, the 4 still closing in a little bit, but the 15 pulling away here.
The 15 doing his best, and this is kind of where, you know, your nerves are going to start to get a little shaky as he nearly takes the curb off of that turn. He's really got that car dialed in. But, you know, speaking from experience, sometimes you get, as he smokes a tire, you know, speaking from experience, you get that one car that's behind you. You're trying to hold on to those that fourth place finish, the points that come with that fourth place finish, and, you know, all of a sudden you see somebody in your rear view, and it makes you a little bit nervous. So, you know, Kensley Smith going to have to keep his head about him as we move through here.
And when you see that driver right behind you in that mirror and they start closing in, your nerves are going to start going. And that's when you start making these mistakes where you're locking up, you're ending up in the wall, and it's just not a good end result.
Yeah, with Smith taking over Coffin with a minute right now. The gap just keeps widening. Number 5, Puffenberger, 48 seconds, 48. 6 laps to go. All right.
So just 6 laps to go here from Chicago Street Course. We want to thank all our viewers here on Sim Racing Media tuning in here to the Chicago Street Course. It's been an exciting race for us. I'm sure it was an exciting race for you. But right now, Austin Smith dominating this whole race once he got out front here with just 6 laps to go. Second place with 5 of Puffenberger. Third place, 11th of Coffin. 4th, 15th of Kensley Smith. 5th place is the 4 of Dennis Kane. Those are your top 5 who are currently on the lead lap. Everybody behind them is either a lap down or out of this race.
Yeah, completely. With Smith just dominating. He's just lapping everyone. 4 laps is number 9. Just is 4 laps down. 45, Smith, 3 laps down. Neal, 2 laps down, 82. 59, Hoke, 2 laps down. And 9th place, Teft, 1 lap down.
Well, I just want to pull back the curtain here. It looks like Jonathan Leach and the Allen Experience are having a little bit of fun at our expense. For those of us that say some of the hot words in iRacing broadcasting, and quite frankly, the joke's on you, Jonathan Leach and the Allen Experience. 2 shots for Dave. I've already plowed through a big old glass of Angel's Envy bourbon. So, guys, listen, it's only going to get worse from here.
With just 5 laps.
Look at that, John. I think I almost have him broken.
5 laps remaining here. 10 to 15 of Kensley Smith hold off the 4 of Dennis Kane. It looks like it. As you see, the 4 of Dennis Kane now falling back a little bit, not gaining as much ground as he was earlier on.
No, Dennis Kane has kind of settled into where he feels like, you know, he's going to be safest getting to the end of this race. 1 minute and 17 seconds behind leader Austin Smith. And quite frankly, you know, with 5 to go, that may be a safe spot here to stay on the lead lap. Either way, it's still a top 5 finish. That's still top 5 points, you know, for the championship standings.
And that's really good. That's all you can do here. If you're not going to gain the position, don't risk it. As you see the 15 there, get into the inside wall. That was Kensley Smith. That's going to allow Dennis Kane to take over 4th place. See right there, the 4 of Dennis Kane now taking over the position. Now you see the 15 of Kensley Smith all over the 4 of Dennis Kane, trying to get his position back as they head down the straightaway.
These 2 drivers are getting the hammer and tongs out tonight. The torches and pitchforks on their way as we head on down through here. Right now, Kensley Smith is a driver with a mission as he chases down Dennis Kane for that 4th position back. So all of a sudden, we just went from, let's get to the end of this race, to, I'm coming for that bumper, sir.
Very close. Right now, with 4 laps to go, Kane and Smith are definitely going at it right now.
You see right there, the 15 using all the track real estate he can. Closing in on the 4. Dennis Kane gets a good corner exit. Gonna have to see if the 15 can close in even more.
You can feel the tension between these 2 drivers. You know, Kensley Smith going after, you know, that tailpipe there of Dennis Kane. And I mean, you know, Kane at this point is just running away like he stole it. And quite frankly, he did. He stole this position away. And, you know, Kensley Smith wants it back. He wants it back now.
And don't forget, you know, the pressure's all on the Ford Dennis Kane. And what we mentioned earlier, one little mistake could cost you. You see the 15 there locking up the wheels, but still closing in on the Ford Dennis Kane. If the 4 makes a mistake, the 15 can get that position. Can the 15 side draft the 4? Not happening. You see the 15 still holding off a little bit.
Did you just say side draft? Do you have any idea where we are?
Yeah, I didn't mean to say that.
Look, I mean, everybody needs a hobby, but we aren't side drafting anything. But as Kensley Smith sets himself up on the inside now of the 4, he's going to take this away from the 4. Once again, we've exchanged that 4th position now as we go up and over the Amtrak line here.
15th of Kensley Smith now back up in the 4th position. Can the 4 of Dennis Kane do anything to get back that position? Very tight racing here as you see the 15 taking that lead once again here over Dennis Kane.
Very close as Kane just following behind just for that small little mistake. Just waiting patiently.
He is back there lurking like a lion in the desert, waiting for that gazelle to just bend down and try to get a drink of water, as Kensley Smith trying desperately to keep Dennis Kane behind him. Kane just waiting. And, you know, don't look now, but it couldn't get much worse when you've got Austin Smith just behind both of these drivers. The popsicle sticks are in the air. We are 2 to go.
2 laps remaining right there. You see the 23 of Austin Smith. He knows those 2 drivers are battling for position up there. So he's going to try to lap those drivers. It's just a matter of time. You see right there, the 15 and 4 now a little more separated here as they go into the turns.
Kensley Smith has found another gear in the 15 right now, as all of a sudden he's starting to gap Dennis Kane by 1.7 seconds. Joshua Neal buying himself a piece of wall here in the closing laps as they've got Austin Smith hot on their trail. It doesn't look like we're going to see that happen as once, wow, look at the rear end of that car as we go up and over the railroad bridge one more time here. But at this point, Kensley Smith knows that he is a marked man driving here in 4th position. I mean, look, to be completely honest, he's our biggest mover of the night. He's gone up 12 positions starting in 16th. You know, with 2 laps to go, this is quite a battle as Austin Smith is just here on a Thursday night relaxing drive as he goes around the horse monuments in Grant Park and around back to the front straightaway.
Well, I mean, Austin Smith had no pressure pretty much the whole night because he's been leading this race. And you see right there, the only drivers having pressure are the people chasing after him or trying to avoid getting a lap down. You see the 15 there of Kensley Smith has gone around. Now Dennis Kane takes that position away again, and now the 15 a lap down.
Popsicle sticks go down. The white flag is in the air. We're racing back to checkers. Austin Smith, Brandon Puffenberger, and A.J. Cawthon, your top 3. Dennis Kane holding on to that position over Kensley Smith, who is just lapped by Austin Smith. So 1, 2, 3, 4 left on the lead lap as Austin Smith hauls it down here onto Michigan Avenue.
Smith is after Kane right now, like a lion just waiting for its prey. Side note, Puffenberger now a minute down compared to before. He was under a minute away from Smith.
See right there, the 23 of Austin Smith closing in on the 4 of Dennis Kane. Dennis Kane knows the leader's right there, trying to avoid to go a lap down as they head over the bridge for the final time tonight here at Chicago. Can the 23 get there? No, he doesn't, but he's closing the door on the 4.
The question you have to be asking yourself right now if you're Dennis Kane, do you allow Austin Smith to go on by as he does? Never mind. That question is answered. Your podium going to be the only 3 cars on the lead lap as Austin Smith gets around Dennis Kane, coming around the last turn of the night, second to last turn of the night, down the straightaway here once more as we pass the subway entrance into the final turn onto the front stretch. He comes down past the entrance to pit road. The checkered flag waves, and Austin Smith wins the Racers Elite Nextgen Series here at Chicago.
23 of Austin Smith been dominating this whole race here tonight and got the checkered flag here on the street course. Congratulations to Austin Smith on getting a P1 finish. Finishing second is the 5 of Brandon Puffenberger. Great finish for him. Our pole sitter finishing 3rd there in that 11 machine.
Yeah, it's been a close match between number 5 and 11 throughout this whole time. Very, very close here. As we see,
See right there,
As we're going to
23
be
making his
expecting
way.
these drivers to make their way into our voice chat here. We're going to be waiting for Austin Smith to allow us to speak with him, as well as Puffenbarger and Cawthon.
Okay. Okay.
Austin Smith coming around on a little bit of a victory lap here as we're waiting for him to pop in to our Discord chat, as it seems like he wants to really enjoy this victory lap. I'll tell you what, guys, tonight was quite a race, quite a competition. We didn't see a whole lot of careless driving. We didn't see a whole lot of aggressive driving. We saw a lot of guys out here staying disciplined, and that's what's going to get you through these races. You know, one of my favorite iRacers out there, the Boy King, as I call him. Here comes Austin Smith to celebrate on the front stretch. But you know, the Boy King, as I call him, it's all about discipline. And over the years, you know, as you get deeper into this sport, you'll find yourself more disciplined. You'll find yourself being able to pull these kind of races off. As we're just waiting for Austin Smith to come into Discord.
he's definitely enjoying that he won here.
I mean, we're in Chicago. It wouldn't be out of place to take a Polish victory lap here.
And we do go to Daytona next week, and you know how Daytona goes. Go big or go home.
I mean, it is the second largest. Why not? 2.5 miles in the Sunshine State around a giant tri-oval, 200 miles an hour into the corners. I mean, that just makes the hair bristle on the back of my neck. As here comes Austin Smith. We're going to get him right here into the broadcast booth. In the words of a great Chicagoan, and of course my favorite voice from Chicago, Harry Callis, Austin Smith, you are the man tonight.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. That was fun.
Burlington, Wisconsin has got to be proud of you after the show that you put on. I mean, you know, qualifying in third position, taking your time, getting up here and leading all of these laps. You know, you put on a clinic. Take us through, you know, your method here, basically, of what it takes to do what you just did.
Yeah, I was just trying to stay as consistent as possible, just trying not to beat myself up and make any mistakes. I was trying to take it really easy in the beginning just because I knew that the tires were going to be cold and it was going to be really loose, so just wanted other people to make their mistakes as well, and then once I got clear track, I was kind of smooth sailing from there. So it really helped that I had a lot of practice from the Xfinity car last night as well. Yeah, so definitely on road courses, I mean, if you can set up your entry a little bit better, you can get a better drive off, and I think that's where a lot of the speed is. So definitely just trying to back up the braking points a little bit and get a little straighter going into a lot of those corners. But man, whatever turn that is, I think it's maybe turn 8 or 9, wherever that purple wall is. I smacked that wall probably 3 or 4 times for that race. I could not figure out that corner.
Without a doubt. Now, next week, of course, I was just corrected here in our YouTube.com live chat. You're heading to the Tricky Triangle here in my home state up at Pocono. What are you thinking as you get ready to go on to what is, quite frankly, one of the most unique tracks on the circuit?
Yeah, that track has never been a friend to me. It's tough because all 3 corners are different, so you got to kind of find a different entry to each of them. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens there, but got some momentum going into it, I guess.
All right, man. Well, listen, before we cut you loose tonight, who do you need to thank and tip your helmet to?
Yeah, I need to thank my team, Midwest Motorsports, for always helping out and helping each other, and Racers Elite for the league, and of course you guys for always broadcasting, and then all my friends and family who are tuning in tonight and watching from all over the country.
All right, my man. Well, listen, congratulations. We will see you next week in Long Pond, Pennsylvania. Go ahead and enjoy this win with your team.
All right, thank you.
And Daniel, I believe you have next up here on our podium, Brandon Puffenbarger.
Hello, Brandon. How are you doing tonight?
Not too bad.
Well, congratulations on a top 3 finish here tonight from the Chicago Street Course. Tell us, viewers and broadcasters, what it was like to go around here on this street course and how your car was handling the whole night.
It's very tricky. I mean, it's just like ice skating. The best way to describe it all night. But I mean, the only tricky part I had was going around the fountain. I pretty much stuffed it in the wall in like lap 3 or 4. But other than that, I mean, the rest of the track was fairly easy. Guys were pretty clean all around after we got through the first couple corners, so it was a fun night tonight.
And do you think there was any probability that you could have possibly won this race or getting around the 23 of Austin Smith?
I think I could have probably hung with him if I didn't stuff it in the wall in the first stint, but I don't think I really had much speed for him in the long run.
So we're heading to the Tricky Triangle next week at Pocono Raceway. All 3 turns are different. What are your expectations going into the Tricky Triangle?
It'll be a close race. All like you said, all 3 corners are different. I think the trickiest corner there is going to be turn 3, just because it's kind of lower speed than the other 2, and it's much more flatter. So I think that'll give guys some trouble. But other than that, I think it'll be one of our better races this season.
All right. And do you have any sponsors or fans you would like to thank before we let you go?
Just Andrew for putting on the league, you guys for broadcasting. That's about it.
All right. Well, congratulations for getting a top 3 here on the Chicago Street Course. We'll see you next week from Long Pond, Pennsylvania.
Good.
And Justin is standing by for our 3rd place finisher, AJ Coffin.
All right, AJ Coffin, how are you feeling after that race?
Pretty good, man.
Was it intimidating at all? Different course than what you're used to?
No, I like. I've done this in I think 2 different leagues now. So, and I really like some road course racing. So it was enjoyable.
It was enjoyable. That's awesome to hear. You and Puffenberger were going at it a lot. How did you think you could have? When did you think you could have beat him there?
I had him.
If you did.
I was up. I think I was up by
By like
I don't know, 10 seconds on him, and then
Yeah.
I smacked the wall. My cat was on my power strip, and I thought she was going to hit the off button, so I didn't get on my brakes enough. And by the time it was coming, I locked him up and had the fast repair, and used that, and still came out 3rd with I think I had 12 seconds over 4th. So I'll take a podium.
Yeah, definitely. With the corners and loops, which one was most intimidating for you? Which one really stood out?
Oh man, I don't even know them by number. Probably the one over by the fountain, because if with the bump in the middle, that's really tricky. And then there's another section leading up to that part where you go downhill and have to take a hard right. I could just never figure that out. That was a lot of other guys were beating me there. I just couldn't figure that one out. But definitely the fountain turn there was it's pretty nuts. I think it's turn 9 maybe.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. You're down at Pocono, right? Going down to Pocono next week. The Tricky Triangle. All right, what are you expecting on that race?
That is another one of my favorite tracks. I didn't like it for the longest time, then I figured out how to race it, so I'm looking forward to that. And hopefully there's not too many pace laps, man, because that's a long pace lap. So hopefully it'll stay clean, but yeah, it's a fun track for sure. I like it.
Awesome. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank? Sponsors, family, coaches, etc.?
Yeah, just want to thank Racers Elite for putting these on. They do a really good job with that league, and want to thank you guys for calling the race. I watch all the broadcasts, and they're usually really good. And then want to thank Rob Evans over at Iracing Designs. And honestly, got to thank my wife for letting me spend so much time doing this, man. She knows Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays she's not going to see me after dinner, so she's real cool about that. So I appreciate her. And yeah, again, I appreciate you guys for calling it.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Well, gentlemen, as we say so often here on Sim Racing Media, another one in the books tonight here at Chicago for the Racers Elite Next Gen Series. I mean, it was an impressive, show from start to finish. These 40 laps came ripping on by, and I got to tell you, I was impressed from start to finish. We're going to take a look here at our final results and roll that beautiful bean footage. Austin Smith brings home the checkered flag and captures the win. Brandon Puffenbarger finishes in second position on the podium, and they are followed on the podium by A.J. Cawthon, who, of course, was our pole sitter. Dennis Kane and Kensley Smith round out the top five, while Corey Crowell, Alex Teft, Brandon Honeycutt, Andrew Teft, and Truth Hoke make up your top 10. Joshua Neal finishes in 11th position, while Michael Smith and John Schoenbachler finished 12th and 13th, respectively. Diego Rodriguez, who had a good run last week at Atlanta, not so great this week. Not so great this week here in Chicago, while Brad Hayes, Gordon Spain, and Jason Bottoms finished 15th, 16th, and 17th. Last but not least in the field tonight, Paul Shaw in that number 25 Wind Creek Toyota Camry finishes in 18th position, putting it on the hauler after just 11 laps. So everybody has a rough night when you're not on your normal turf, so to speak. But I'll tell you what, here at the intersection of Michigan Avenue and Balboa Avenue, I'm a happy camper after this piece.
This race course was very intriguing to me and other viewers here on Sim Racing Media. They performed very well. We did see some hiccups from some drivers, locking up their brakes or ending up in a tire barrier, but most of these drivers have done a phenomenal job, especially Austin Smith, who's been dominating once out front. Now it's time to go the tricky triangle. 3 different corners. That means 3 different challenges for these drivers. So we're going to have to see how Pocono delivers next week.
Absolutely. Well, listen, here we are just down from the Dearborn Street station. It's time to go hit up Adam's Ribs and get a little something to eat for these broadcasters tonight. We can go check out Adam's Ribs. I'll tell you what, we just can't forget the coleslaw. That's all there is to it. So for my broadcast partners this evening, Daniel and Justin, I'm Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth saying thanks for listening, thanks for tuning in and making us a part of your evening. And tomorrow as you go through your day, remember, you're special, you're the only one like you, and you're unique. Good night, everybody.
Good night.